Hey there, TNA fam, how are we going? Today, we're back again. You can't get rid of us. We're always here. We'll always be here. Maybe, at least, hopefully, as long as possible. But, what I want to talk about is the six-way match at Bound for Glory for the X Division title. So for the next few weeks, we are going to have six qualifying rounds to determine the six participants in the upcoming X Division title match, I guess. I said this before where I said, like, Cedric Alexander really should be just in this already, technically speaking. I really feel like, at least to some extent, or at least to say, hey, well, he gets the first shot at the champion or something like that. So, but either way, we will see. I know we've seen a couple of the announcements, but they haven't really announced a lot of the participants in this. That is why, like, they have announced that this thing is going to effectively happen at Bound for Glory, but they haven't really announced it, and they haven't really announced the participants that well, honestly. I think there's like two qualifying matches coming this week. So yeah, I think they're kind of a little bit predictable as to who's gonna win to some extent as well, but obviously I can be surprised again, but still, I do feel like, I know how those two are going, at least for now, but there is still a fair amount of time to get to Bound for Glory, and the other, four participants are still big question marks, at least to me. Like, and I don't, again, think that they've really stated who's going to face who when, and like I've been saying, like, I'm calling this the X Division Bound for Glory series, effectively. Just to try to get it going and trying to get it to be like, hey, this is a thing, except it's not really the Bound for Glory series or whatever. It's just a bunch of like qualifying matches, which, whatever, for the most part. Instead of like having like several matches. And the thing is, like, again, if you're gonna have this match at Bound for Glory, this six-way, it's not Ultimate X or whatever, it's just effectively a Tornado six-way match, I guess. Well, not like a Tornado six-way match, but you know what I mean. It's anything goes six-way match, basically, for the most part. So, yeah, if you're gonna have this at Bound for Glory, I feel like you should be actually, like, hyping that up a little bit more, and actually coming out with, like, again, not just saying, hey, this thing's gonna happen. And I do hope that they start to, like, build together something that does come together and does give, like, stories to whoever and whatever is happening in that X Division for now and into the future. And it does make me question who would be the best person, because there hasn't really, besides Cedric and Leon, there really hasn't been that kind of much going on with the X Division for a while. Like, Fabian Eichner's kind of been close-ish a little bit, but that's been about it. It's been really quiet for a long, long time. There are some stuff obviously going on in the international title scene as well, and I feel like that's gonna culminate at Bound for Glory as well, at some point at least, hopefully. But yeah, like, with this X Division match, it's like, yeah, okay, all right, but, like, make it a little bit more real. Like, when you start to see, like, a proper graphic for this and a couple of people qualified for this effectively, I feel like, and I know we could look at some of the spoilers from the tapings that are coming up or whatever and whatnot, but again, like, just seeing the graphics for seeing, like, who's going to be in this match potentially, or at least a couple of the contenders for being in this match, will make it a whole lot more interesting, and will move us towards that. So I don't really, unfortunately, have anything to say because there's no, yet at the moment at least, there's no real story for anyone going in. Maybe we'll get more of that next week and whatnot because they did just finish the knockouts, like, title tournament, the TV title tournament. So I guess they kind of wanted to get that out of the way before having another tournament sort of thing. Well, it's not really a tournament, it's a single elimination style thing, I guess, for only 6 people. And for the most part, I feel like, well, the 6 people are going to be, like, fairly obvious for the most part, I feel like. And there's not that many people in that X division, unfortunately. There's hopefully going to be more soon, maybe. Wait and see. But again, it's starting to be like, well, what are we doing here? Or what do we do? Like, yeah, it's one of those difficult positions because you're like, we're probably a week away from really anything happening with this. And like, we already knew about this a little bit, I guess, to some extent when Leon sort of vacated the title. And I think I did touch on talking about it for a little bit there the other day and whatnot, I think in one of the videos there. But like now this is like officially basically an official thing, and like next week we are getting the first few qualifying matches, and then probably in the next couple of weeks we'll get like the next couple and then another couple, and then hopefully once the field is kind of set, you're gonna hopefully do a bit more work with all the individuals that are in this match to say, well, why is this person how is this person gonna do it? Or why is that person gonna do it? Whatever. And again, it does depend on who is in it and what stories you're telling with them and that sort of thing for all of that sort of stuff. So at least like hopefully something like with the knockouts TV title tournament, it really didn't feel like there was much of anything with anyone having a story apart from like maybe the Elegance brand will face off against each other. That was the only like pseudo story, and that was very sort of vague for the most part. It wasn't very heavily featured, and there wasn't like a very heavily featured story for anybody. I am kind of interested in some of the other stuff that they're teasing as well. But yeah, I am going to wait a little bit more to talk about some of those, like Indy Hartwell potentially wrestling Daria Ray, and things like that, I think, potentially. And whatnot until we get closer and until it becomes more clear that that's actually kind of where we're going or actually what we're going to do or whatever else it is. So I wait to see those sorts of things as well. But yeah, again, I do feel like the X Division title, especially with like Cedric needs to be in this thing somewhere. Like, and I feel like maybe he should get a bye, honestly. But then again, I don't know. Like, it's tough, isn't it? Because it's like, well, he's been great, but it's like, well, if he was in the match, then there's not that big reason to be like him coming back and him saying, I got gypped, I never got my match for that title, so I'm going to have that rematch at Genesis or whatever, or at Destination X perhaps even. I don't know. That'd be cool because that'd set something up for Destination X, and there's not really a whole lot set up. Oh, I don't think you really set up much for Destination X yet, so if you're putting that in your back pocket and saying, hey, well, let's not give him that match for Bound for Glory, let's just wait and let's just have him have his match at Destination X, let somebody win that belt, let somebody hold that belt for a little bit, and then lets them have a big story against not the last X Division champion, but the last X Division champion for Leon, and then they go off and beat Cedric, who was like a fairly big thing for a while there, and then you can go on and say, okay, cool. Well, now we're going to go to Genesis or whatever else it is after that, and they're going to face somebody else, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that is where we're at with this at the moment. I didn't really like the main reason I haven't talked about it enough, like in its own specific video like this, is because we don't really know a whole lot about this, and like I think like Casey Navarro, who else was in this? The new one of the new signings, I believe. Joe, what's his name? I can't remember now. Alonso, whatever his last name is, I can't remember. He hasn't even been on TV yet, bro. So excuse me for not remembering his name. But yeah, like Fabian Eichner and Rohit Raju, baby, he's back, baby, yeah. So yeah, that's interesting to see and all of that. So we'll be waiting to possibly see what's done with that, but wait, see. Just looking to see if I can find it. Yeah, Joe Alonso. Okay, all right. Making sure I try to get it. I try, guys. I try, but yeah, I don't remember because this guy hasn't even been on TV yet. So for now, those are the only two matches, and like I said, those two are pretty, unfortunately, predictable to an extent. I would love it if Rohit won, honestly, but still, like, he hasn't been around for a while, and, you know, it'd be nice for him to get a win, but, like, you could do so many other things with him, and maybe, like, again, I don't know whether he's sticking around. Is he sticking around, or is it a one-off thing? Don't know. So, yeah, again, you can't really say, hey, he's going to be in that position, you know, since he hasn't been here for a while. So, wait and see, though. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much it for this one. Yeah, next week, obviously, we'll be seeing, like, this updated. So, we'll be talking about, like, the additions to this match as we go along. And it will probably only be, like, fairly much complete by close to getting to Bound for Glory, hopefully. And then we'll have some little stuff on the way to Bound for Glory after that, I guess. Just to see the match actually happen. I feel like they'll have a few, like, 6-man tags or something like that in the meantime, or whatever. Something like that in the meantime. So, yeah. We'll wait to see that, but there'll be a lot of discussion about this going forward, unlike a lot of the other matches, because I feel like a lot of the other matches are just going to be, okay, this is what's happening, and okay, off we go, next thing, blah, blah, blah. Whereas this will be, okay, they've added this person and that person. They've added this person and that. And it's like, they're probably going to add 2 people each week, or thereabouts, at least, I think. But maybe they will add 1 person one week, maybe. I don't know. But for the most part, I feel like we're going to be talking about 2 people entering it. And I feel like if I was to talk about, like, the first person that enters it and then the second person, it's going to be, like, crazy. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cover it when they finish each episode at the end of the episode. Not at, okay, they've put in this person or whatever. Okay, now they've put in that person. Okay, all right. So they put, but like, instead of just going, okay, they put this person and this person in, like making 2 separate videos about, like, each individual that got added in. I think it's just cleaner and quicker and easier to say, okay, tonight they added these 2 people. Tonight they added this one person. Tonight they added these 2 people, whatever it is. Or tonight they added these 3 people, or whatever it is. Instead of just being like, oh, okay, they added this person. Oh, now they added that, you know, like, it just makes more busy work and more videos, and, like, there's a certain amount of content that I want to create for you guys, certainly, and I want to keep the content coming, absolutely, but I also feel like, hey, at a certain point, you know, people can only keep up with so much content and whatnot. So yeah, I do try to keep up with it as much as possible, but I do think also people don't want to hear 30 videos, you know, whatever, discussing, like, one thing or whatever. They want to just be like, okay, all right, now we know, or now we're seeing the story, now we're seeing some of this stuff come together. Okay, cool, right, off we go. you know. So, but yeah, anyway, I've got more videos coming out very soon, especially about some of these new hires, which will be up soon. So be sure to check that out when it comes out. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for this one. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and yeah, I hope you will be well and be able to join me again in another one.